Hello, my name is James, and here we are once again with a slightly late but still present September PlayStation Plus video. This month we've got 3 games to pick up, and I will start off with Need for Speed Heat. Unless you've been living under a rock for the last, 20 odd years, Need for Speed is a very prominent racing game from EA, with the latest iteration being Need for Speed Heat, which has more of a sort of neon aesthetic along with a more arcadey feel, but you kind of get that with the Need for Speed games anyway. Now, while I haven't actually played Need for Speed Heat myself, I have played some of the previous Need for Speed titles, more prominently the Need for Speed reboot they did back in, I think, 2015 it was. Yeah, it was a good bit of fun, nothing special, just a fun sort of arcadey style racer that had a good bit of enjoyment to it. From the looks of things, Need for Speed Heat seems to be doing pretty well. It's got what seems to be 9s and 8s out of 10s online, and people seem to really enjoy it. It seems to be another racer that doesn't take itself too seriously and has a fun sort of colour scheme to it, which, I'm definitely looking forward to playing because I really enjoyed the last couple of Need for Speeds. Yeah, I wouldn't go out of my way to buy them, but the fact that they're free, or at least this one is free, I'm definitely going to enjoy my time with it. Moving on from a game I haven't played, we've now got a game I have played, which is Granblue Fantasy Versus. Now, me and this game have an interesting relationship because I managed to pick up a disc copy of the game, which in Europe for some reason was very hard to do at a reasonable price. I had managed to do that just before they completely repriced the game across all platforms. It had become like £16 from like $49.99 overnight. And I wasn't particularly impressed, but ultimately, it meant more people could play the game, which with fighting games you kind of need, so all in all, it was a good thing. But now the game's free for PlayStation Plus, which again is technically a good thing, but I've already paid the money, so there's not much I can do about that. Moving on from that, the game is a 1v1 fighting game from the guys over at Arxis. They know how to make fighting games, let's put it that way. The game is sort of simplified to make execution moves or special moves a little easier to perform. And instead of being able to spam them, they have cooldowns, which is a fun addition, but it doesn't stop the skill level of the game dropping to, a game that anyone can just pick up and be a master at, but you can pick it up and be, semi-proficient in whoever you want to play within the first, hour or so. Basically, it's a really fun fighting game that isn't too hard to get into, and with everyone getting a free copy of it, it might mean that the online sees some kind of massive resurgence, which would be really nice as the game has been struggling pretty much ever since launch, mainly due to, I believe the pandemic was the original issue, is that it came out at a very unfortunate time. But if you're someone that's not really into the online side of things, there is still the RPG mode, which is a very unique take on a single player mode in fighting games, and is definitely a good bit of fun for a few hours, I would say. But yeah, going back to my point, the game's a pretty solid fighting game. If you don't like the genre, this game is not going to change anything for you. But if you enjoy fighting games as an every once in a while sort of pastime like myself, then yeah, you definitely can't go wrong with Granblue Fantasy Versus. Last but certainly not least on the list, we have Tome. Tome is a title I knew literally nothing about until I watched the trailer for it, for this video essentially. And it actually seems like a really fun, cute little idea, to be honest. The game appears to be coined as some kind of isometric adventure, all about taking photos. So you explore the world in this beautiful black and white art style that is very unique to the game. And then when you find something that you want to take a picture of, you enter a first-person camera mode, and the perspective completely changes as you would expect, going from an isometric sort of top-down perspective all the way to first person. And because now you're in this camera mode, you're going to see things that from an isometric perspective, you simply just will not see. It's such a fun little idea, and because it's such a chill game, you don't have to rush, and it looks like a lot of fun, to be honest. It appears to be getting 8s and 9s from the looks of things. I've not played it myself, but just from looking at the gameplay, it looks like a fun, chill title that you don't really have to take too seriously, and you can just slowly enjoy at whatever pace you feel like, whenever you feel like playing. And with that, we are done with September of 2022 for PlayStation Plus. As far as months go, this one actually seems pretty good. Need for Speed Heat seems to be a really good racing game. Granblue Fantasy Versus is a really solid fighting game, but fighting games can be a bit niche depending on people's preferences. And again, Tome seems like a really fun indie title, but again is one of those niche cases which not everyone's probably going to enjoy. But for me, I'm quite pleased with the month. The only real downside is that Tome is a PS5 only title, which means PS4 players only get 2 games this month, but they're the 2 main ones, so slightly less of a complaint, I suppose. And with that, it is finally time to wrap up. Thank you for those that stuck around until the end. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and all of that good stuff. And until next month, I've been James, the Mayor of Jamestown. Goodbye.